I'm going to give you a little update on what's happening to me and what's happened to me so that people who do follow me on Twitter, Facebook, family, friends, and whatever else, because it's being broadcast across a lot of different platforms at the moment, 5 to be exact. And I wanted to just give you a quick update on myself, and I wanted to just jump in and start talking about a few subject matters which are still important to me. So on the 27th of March, it was a sunny, lovely day, and it's just the weather had just started to get better. And I normally like to get either on an electric scooter or go on a bicycle or the Lime bikes. And because it's beautiful and sunny, I like to get on a ride and get on those. And 27th of March, I did exactly that, and I ended up on the electric scooter just getting hit from behind by a woman who was, I think, may have been on the phone or distracted. I can't really tell what happened. All I know is that I was in a lane, and all of a sudden I got hit from behind and sent me flying, and ended up causing me to fly through the air. And the best part was I'm in a 20-mile-an-hour area, Grosvenor Place, and I'm doing 15 miles an hour on a, what's it called, on the electric scooter. And she's hit me to the point where my back is just gone. So she's hit me from behind. My back is gone. Sorry, she's hit me from this direction. My back is gone like that. Sent me flying through the sky, and then I've landed on the bottom of my lumbar basically, and it's just crunched up into my vertebrae. The thoracic, the T12 and the L1 have crunched together. I've now got a wedged fracture of T12, and I am unable to get out of my bed and walk around. I'm not in pain. I've got a fractured T12, and I can't do what I normally do, which is the work that I do as the Workers' Party National Election Coordinator, and I can't do the things that I enjoy doing, which is getting involved in the politics of the party and the politics of the country, going up and down during elections to do what I've got to do for my party and to try and bring as much help as I can to our candidates for these elections. So because of that, I'm unable to do that. So with the accident and everything else happened, I have been trying to get well, trying to get better, wait for the reduction in pain. I have now set myself up in my home, in my bedroom. You can't see it, but I'm actually lying down on my bed. I didn't really fancy doing this with my bed showing in the background, so I've used a green screen. But I'd like to get back involved in the politics of what's happening at the moment, because I have been sitting on the sidelines and watching what's happening again to Gaza. And this Trump plan of displacing all the people from Gaza is not a time for people like myself who have got a voice, who love the people of Palestine, who care about what happens to them. It's not a time for me to just, disappear because I've got back problems. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Gaza. I want to talk a little bit about a petition that I have started. I shouldn't say it's not my idea. It was a friend's idea. And I'll go into explain a little bit more about the petition and how it all started, and explain where we're hopefully going to go with that petition, and give you the background for why I went for that petition. So what I wanted to talk about first things first is Bibi Netanyahu. Today I've seen him. He's obviously been refused the right and permission to go and attack Iran, which is, it's his wet dream to have Iran attacked by America so that he can try and get rid of the only regional power in the area that has resisted Israel. All the others have pretty much succumbed and reduced their levels of toxicity toward them, not counting Lebanon, not counting Yemen, but Syria has gone. Iraq is sort of neutral at the moment, but will support if they get attacked. And the Israelis have not really attacked them that much of late. But with the downfall of Syria, that crescent is now fractured. There isn't the route that there used to be able to supply the Lebanese forces on the ground or through the ground of Syria. And the Israelis feel emboldened, and they've taken up, I don't know, the southern parts of Syria, all the way up to, I don't know how many miles from the southern parts of Damascus. And it's pretty obvious that the Syrian government that's in charge at the moment is beholden to Israel and to the United States, because at the end of the day, they are the same people that were being given help in hospitals in Israel when they were getting chased out by other forces. So the point of this exercise is this: Bibi Netanyahu is going to run out of time very soon. And when he runs out of time, he's going to prison. And what he's trying to do is get Iran involved in the conflict so that he can try and get rid of them, because that's the only way he can carry on staying in power. The situation in Gaza is absolutely horrendous. 2nd of March was the last time that any trucks were allowed in. And to be absolutely clear, the Israelis broke the ceasefire. The Israelis are wholly responsible for the breakdown of the agreement to hand hostages over and for ceasefire to continue. They refused to let any more trucks in, and then they said, you have to release all the hostages. This is not what Steve Witkoff organized. This was not what Hamas agreed to. This is not what the Israelis agreed to. This is something that they decided to just go for it and say, well, you are going to have to hand over them, because if you don't hand them over, we're going to attack you. All they've ever wanted was time to get more weapons, more weaponry and everything else from America. They've been given these 2,000-pound bombs by the arch-Zionist slave of America, Donald Trump, you know, the guy who Bibi Netanyahu went to see twice, and both times, for the sake of a photo shoot, they had the American president holding the chair for Bibi Netanyahu and put it behind his arse and push him in so that he can do some writing. I don't know what could be more submissive for the president of the United States of America than being seen there doing this, pushing the seat in of the Prime Minister of Israel. I mean, I hope people understand the power dynamics and the imagery and the iconography that you get there. He is the single most powerful elected person in America, and here he is pushing the chair behind Bibi Netanyahu. Have you seen him do that for any other person? Have you seen him do for any other person, as in like any other president? Why is it that he is doing that for Bibi Netanyahu? You have to ask yourself that reason. Why is he doing it for him? This is a power game. This is a power dynamic thing that's being played out. So let's get back on track. So Bibi Netanyahu has got the bombs he got from Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is a servant of this Jewish supremacist group of people that run America. He has to do what they tell him to do. He has surrounded himself with Zionists. He has surrounded himself with billionaire donors, all of whom are either being blackmailed by Mossad or by Israel, or know what side, you know, what side their bread is buttered on, rather than upset these people. That's the situation. America has been blackmailed to do what it's doing at the moment, to help out this genocide, to make sure that they get whatever they need to carry on doing the ethnic cleansing that they're doing. The plan for them is to displace 2 million people into Egypt. That's what they'd like to do. That's the plan. They're going to herd them and do that. Now, something has got to happen. My personal preference is we have an army and a fleet of ships that go in and destroy the Israeli army that's in the Gaza. Tell them, unless you withdraw from this place, every single piece of artillery, every single tank, whatever you've got in there is going to get annihilated. Because it's the only language that Israel understands, the language of violence. And this can only happen with the support of the Chinese, the BRICS, Russia. All of them have to get together and make sure that Israel is not allowed to continue doing what it's doing, which is slaughtering people from the sky every single day. If anyone is sitting there waiting for Israel to understand the meaning of the word mercy, to understand the meaning of the word to be, you know, to basically stop murdering kids, stop murdering women, you're an idiot. You're an absolute moron and a fool. There is no intention for them to do anything of the sort. Their only intention is to make sure they prosecute this war, to keep the bloodlust that 85 to 90% of all Israelis have right now today, which is the total annihilation of every single living thing in Gaza. I'm not making that number up. 85% to 90% of all Israelis would not mind seeing every single Palestinian removed from Gaza and flattened and rebuilt and taken over completely by the state of Israel and push everyone out. And some people who I've seen have said if there was a button that they could press that would kill every single life in Gaza, they wouldn't hesitate. They'd just press the button and say that, well, it's done now. That's the mentality and the psychopathy of Israelis in Israel. And they're being led by someone who is just as bad. So something drastic has got to happen to stop this war on women and children in Gaza. And the only thing that can do that is force. And I think the sooner this force is put together, the better, because Israel will not stop, because nothing is going to stop them. And the reason is all Western countries are beholden to what Israel wants to do. Germany is a servant of Israel. Britain is a servant of Israel. All of the Western countries that are sitting there going on about we're a liberal democracy, we're a democratic country, every single one of them has sat there and watched and turned a blind eye to the murder of women and children. I don't know how many kids I've seen with their bodies held by their father and their head blown off, their arm missing. How many more of those do we have to see before the so-called Western liberal democracies can turn around and say, listen, enough is enough. Enough was like 6 months ago. If they haven't stopped 6 months ago, they're not going to stop in the next 6 months. Every single day, they're murdering more people. That is the kind of thing that you're dealing with Gaza. You're dealing with savages who do not look at Palestinians as human beings, but just look at them as little fish in a little pond that they just take shotgun shots at. That's what the Palestinians have become. Not a human race for them, but things that they just want to shoot at for a laugh. They sniper for a laugh. They kill them for a laugh. There's videos of a Druze soldier standing on top of a hill or a mound and just unloading a machine gun into people, buildings, because he can, and no one is stopping him. That's the kind of situation that Gaza has got. Deranged, demented psychopaths that think it's okay to just kill Palestinians because they don't count as human beings. They have absolutely no value to these people. They take pleasure and joy in killing Palestinians. They've been brought up in a demented manner to think that these people don't count as human beings. That's the situation we have in Gaza, and I truly believe that if anyone was going to do anything, and I hope they do something, it's something that happens sooner than later, because I promise you, they're either going to kill every single person in Gaza, because I don't think the Palestinians are going to move. They've not moved so far. They've not left the north. They've not left any parts. They're not going to leave Gaza. So they're going to have to kill 2 million people. And that is not something that we in the West can sit by and watch this happen. It's not something that's acceptable. What's made me happy is watching councillors who are Labour councillors turn around and say, this Labour government is too cruel. What we're doing at the moment by being on the same side as the Israelis is turning us into evil people. and they're resigning their position. They're resigning from the Labour Party. That's what needs to happen, people. If you're a human being and you appreciate human life, you surely cannot be on the same side. You cannot be on the same side as the people that are sniping kids' heads off. They're literally blowing kids' heads off. They are taking shots at the kid's heart. They're not trying to take off limbs anymore. They are making sure that they kill them. Do you want to be on the same side as these people? Is that something that we've got to look forward to? So the question is, what did you do in 2023, 24, and now in 25 about what you've seen? Have you been doing the right thing? Are you willing to do the right thing? What is the price that you're willing to pay to make sure that you can turn around and look at yourself in the mirror once the chapter is closed on this whole situation? What will be the epitaph that you will have on your name? What is the epitaph on your head, on your soul? Is it going to be a stain on your soul that you did nothing? You sat there and watched it happen? Or will you be part of the group of people like myself and every activist that's out there at the moment fighting on behalf of Palestinians and their rights and their dignity and their civil liberties? Are you going to join us and say no to this government? Are you going to say no in Germany? We are the majority of the people that don't enjoy seeing what we're seeing happen at the moment. These governments are not our governments. These governments are owned by Zionists. These governments answer to Netanyahu. These governments answer to Jewish supremacist leaders. It's not anti-Semitic to call them Jewish supremacists, because that's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are. That is what Norman Finkelstein calls them. That's what they call themselves in their WhatsApp groups. They get together, they contrive, they connive, they put plans together that allow them to support a genocide. They own the media. And anyone who tells you you're being anti-Semitic because you're saying that, it's obvious. There's no more hiding it. With every picture and every video that you see out there, that the media, all they do is pick up the talking points of Israel and repeat them like a parrot. All they do is parrot the points that are given to them by the IDF. That's what the BBC does. It doesn't have any journalists. It's got propagandists. And all they do is sit there and repeat whatever lie Israel says. Israel blew up 5 or 6 ambulances, killed 18 people who were there as ambulance men. They killed people who were ambulance men. The ambulances had their lights on. They drove there. Israel turned around and said it was Hamas using these weapons undercover and they were suspicious. So we stopped them and they were on an operation and they would do X, Y, and Z. And that's why we killed them. And then when a camera found on the body of one of the people that they killed, whose fat cameras they didn't take off him before they put him into a ditch and threw sand on him and buried him in a mass grave, is found. Then the truth comes out. By then, it's too late, BBC. By then, ITV, it's too late. By then, Sky News, it's too late, because all you've done is rabbit the points for Israel. All you've done is parrot the crap that they've come out with. All of your people at LBC, all of you people, all you do is excuse and defend the indefensible. What Israel has done to those ambulancemen is something that would never, ever have come out had it not been that one of those Palestinian ambulancemen recorded it. There wouldn't have been a single investigation done into that ambulance thing. And no one would have believed the Palestinians, because they'd have turned around and said, oh, it's just the Palestinians coming up with bullshit. It's the Palestinians doing Pallywood. Pallywood being Palestinian and Hollywood mixed together, as in like they're making films for propaganda. The real propaganda here, people, is the BBC, the ITV, Channel 4 News, Sky TV, all of these companies that no longer have anyone watching them. Anyone that's watching these TV programs are idiots. Anyone who is not going out there to find multiple sources of information and relies just on those 4 or 5 channels, the mainstream liars, is an idiot. So what I'm trying to say to you is, it's important for people to understand where we are right now. These supremacists have got control over the media. These supremacists are all deep state players. They are people who do not want to see a change. They're happy with doing what they want to do, getting away with it, up until this conflict. In this conflict, they've not been able to get away with it because of Twitter, social media. And no matter how much they try and shut down everything, platforms are still getting the videos out. Facebook is the worst one out of all of them, by the way. Facebook and Instagram just shut down everything because Facebook and Instagram's team for controlling of what's canned and what's not canned are all IDF, former IDF soldiers. So their team is made up of that. So anyway, the whole point of this exercise tonight is this. I am trying to get myself re-engaged by video with everyone and everything. I am going to hopefully be doing more of these videos, not every night, but every other night, to say that what I think is happening and what's on my mind, so that you guys can listen to me if you want to listen to me. And I hope that you will understand that what I bring you is from a place of my heart and a place where I want you to be reflective of everything you see and understand and question and look at the things that are happening. So something else that I've done, and I say I've done, I've got a good friend of mine. I can't mention the name until I get permission from them. And there is a Holocaust memorial that's being built or has been sanctioned and is going to be going into a place called Victoria Park. Victoria Park is a very tiny park attached to Parliament, to the parliamentary estate. There's a Holocaust memorial thing being built there. A good friend of mine who I have the utmost respect for, who I have all the time in the world for, and is a person who I have approached and said, I need you to support the children in Gaza. And all they've said is, send me the address, the financial address. Who do I need to send money to? You know, and they just help out and they support. This person turned around and said, I will be happy to put £100,000 as the first, what's it called, bit of money to help a charity or an organization, a foundation, to support and build this memoriam. And what we're trying to do, or I was trying to do, was see if we can get a group of people together to help try and build a memorial. What's the best way to a memorial for the children of Gaza? Because really, they are the innocents. They didn't deserve to be killed. They've done nothing wrong here. And this person said, I am more than happy to put £100,000 in to help start with a seed fund to get this thing off the floor. I worked on that project to see if I can get this project up and running, to see if I can find the right people to become the, what's it called? The people, to start up a UK charity, you've got to have trustees. And I've been trying to find the right trustees and see if I can get the right people together to become the trustees of this organization. Now, in the end, what I decided to do was approach Parliament and set off a British, the parliamentary petition. And that petition was granted only a few days ago, with the wording of what I had asked for to slightly to be changed by them. And it's now, as it is, it's live, and that petition is out there at the moment. Is to build a memorial and ask the British government to fund it and pay for it. Because if the children of Gaza don't get something after what's happened to them now, it's a travesty. As I said, they've done nothing wrong. They are the innocents, and they need to be, memorized, or they need to have a memorial for them as well. So what I ask you to do is, I urge you to do is, if you can, please, if you look at my pinned tweet, you will see there is a pinned tweet of me in a bed giving a short 90-second video and telling you about the, what's it called, the petition. There's a link there. Please go there and find it. And also, if you can, share it with as many people as you can. And if you've got friends who are important people, who are politicians, who are advocates of Palestine, advocates of humanity, get them to share it. We need to get 100,000 votes to have this become a petition that's discussed in Parliament. And this is not a political one. This is literally a memorial for the children of Gaza. They deserve this. So if you can, help out with that. And I hope that one day I'll be able to tell you who the person is who came up with the idea of it. I'm the person that's the instrument of carrying it out. I just want to say that it wasn't my idea to do this. This was the idea of a good friend of mine. And I am more than happy to help in any way that I can and be the front for it and be the front end of it for them. And I just want this to happen, because nothing would give me greater pleasure than to see a memorial in Victoria Park at the Houses of Parliament to help basically put the children of Gaza in a place where they deserve to be, at the heart of London, because they've done nothing wrong here. Nothing at all. So those are the two things I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to go into any more politics. I'm just going to leave it as that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it to a close. And forgive me that if I'm lying down, it's because I'm basically in my bed and I've set everything up so that I can talk to you like this as best as I can. So don't think I'm reclining because of any other reason other than the fact that I have to lie down like this. Otherwise, my back is in absolute agony and I have to stay in this position for the whole period of, 8 to 10 weeks to allow my bones to reset and become strong again, allow the ligaments and the muscle to get back behind the fracture and pull it back together. So with all of that said, I'm very grateful to those of you who have stayed long enough to watch this all the way through. And I urge you all to remember my message of, what are you going to do for Gaza now? And what are you going to do when it comes to your government in your country? And what can you do to change the narrative in your country? And how can we hold our politicians to account for their lack of moral compass, for their lack of backbone, for their lack of movement? Yeah, there is like an inertia that's just not pushing these people fast enough. We have to move them to do the right thing. And that's what is the final thing, the last part of my message. Please, let's do whatever you can to help the situation in Gaza. Thank you very much.